Hey, well, good evening, friends. Today's May 14th. Jaya and I are here together to go over another chapter in Bringers of the Dawn. Tonight's topic is chapter 21, which is titled Your Commitment to Evolve in 3D. So it'll be a very interesting chapter. First, let's do our 10-minute meditation. We'll set the energies, flow, and that'll get us in alignment to really receive the message here. So if you would take your meditation position, whatever's good for you, sit up nice and straight with your eyes closed. Inhale deeply, hold, and exhale. Inhale deeply, hold, and exhale. Now, in a relaxed manner, let your thoughts settle and bring your awareness to the flow of the breath. Just watch your breath as it moves in and out without trying to control it. Just let it take its own natural course. Keep your full attention on your breath. If you have some thoughts, just don't pay attention. Just watch the breath. Relax. Let go. And let yourself sink down into the center of your beingness. Your friends, another 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, take your palms and rub them together. Place them over your eyes. Slowly take them from your eyes and look into your palm. Hey, good evening again. So we are on chapter 21 of Bringers of the Dawn. It's called Your Commitment to Evolve in 3D. So just as an explanation, my interpretation or understanding of 3D just means regular world, what we see with our eyes, the three-dimensional reality that seems to be in front of us. How do we evolve in this level of awareness? I don't know. Do you see it any differently, Jaya, than that? When somebody says how you're evolving in 3D, that's the way I see it. I think you're muted, Jaya.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I feel the same.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So let me start reading some passages that I marked out, and we'll talk about that. Pleiadians say, from our point of view, you all have knowledge, and you just need to activate the memory that is stored inside your being. We've noticed that some of you, from your location of experience, are out there moaning and groaning and saying, we need help and assistance now and again. So let us suggest to you an avenue that you can definitely walk down, a formula that works. The formula is quite simple, and it is for you in the moment and every day to consistently set out with clarity what you wish to experience. So I love this formula. They're just basically saying, hey, at the beginning of the day, just say what you want to experience. I've tried this before and it works really well, especially if you write it down like in the morning. Write yourself a note on a piece of paper and say, I will experience whatever, contentment, peace, joy, love, fulfillment, um, whatever you need to experience, right? The Pleiadians say perhaps what you want falls into a category of impossibility according to someone else's boundary or someone else's limitation. With a sense of deserving and graciousness, discover inside yourself what will bring you happiness, what makes you feel light and connected and alive. What do you desire that will bring peace on the planet as you occupy your own being? This is an interesting question. You have to be careful with the answer here, right? I think there are some possible wrong answers to this. The wrong answers obviously would be material gain in a selfish sort of a way. If you say that that's your intention and that's your desire, I think you'll find that that's not really what brings you happiness, and it's not really what helps the world to go into a peaceful state, if that's what you want to do. So I think many people are constantly trying to go down that road in a very conscious way. How can I gain more, whatever it is, in a materialistic sense, right? More things, right? More money, more, I don't know, it doesn't matter what it is, right? Houses, more cars, more. How can I trade my old car for a really nice Tesla? Where am I going to get the money for that? All these sorts of materialistic things. So these aren't really not ever really bringing happiness to anyone. It brings you a little bit of happiness for a moment. All that fades away. and then you're looking for the next bright, shiny object. So my advice is to stick with something that's going to be lasting. Search for peace and joy and love. And you can even say, I'd like to have abundance in my life. There's nothing wrong with abundance. Everyone should be very abundant in the way that they are and free and sharing. Giving and receiving are really the same thing. Many people can't see it that way because they choose not to, but when you give to others, what you give out comes back to you. And so my philosophy, interpretation. I'll keep going. Okay, let me skip down a little. Pleiadians say 2 or 3 times a day, devote a small portion of your time to getting clear about what you want. Every day, open the energy centers in your body and above your body by calling the frequency of light. We call this the pillar of light. Picture a beam of light coming into your 12 chakra centers, 7 inside your body and 5 outside your body. These chakras are information centers or vortexes that, once activated, begin to spin. When they spin, they create a movement inside your body that activates the light encoded filaments to work together, rebundle, and form the 12 evolving helices in the body. It's very important for everyone who wishes to be in complete balance with their physical being to practice on a regular basis some kind of deep breathing program. This is a program in which breath is very important and oxygenation is practiced so that oxygen is brought into the body. I don't know how many people may have done something like this before, but there are some really good yoga techniques for deep breathing. And I would highly recommend as well that you try it if you haven't already. It can make a big difference. It can be a nice complement to your meditation practice. So I think this is great advice coming from the Pleiadians. Pleiadians say another activity we recommend for those of you who wish to move into a vast acceleration of energy is spinning. Move from left to right, spinning around and focusing your vision on your thumb, counting and spinning. We recommend that you spin 33 times, at least once a day. You may build up to the 33 spins very slowly. If you are able to work up to 33 spins 3 times a day so that you are spinning 99 times, well, we will see how long you stay on the planet, or at least in this dimension. When you complete spinning, however many times you spin, bring your palms together at chest level. Press them together, keeping your eyes open. And balance yourself with your feet a shoulder's width apart so that you feel anchored and still feel the spinning at the same time. This tremendously accelerates the spinning of the chakra systems inside your body, which tremendously accelerates the rate at which you can interpret and receive data. So just so you might better understand what they mean. So I actually tried this after I read this, I actually tried this. So you want to stand and spin round and round. And while you're spinning, hold one hand in front of you, stationary in front of your face with your thumb pointing up, and keep your eyes on your thumb. So you're not looking at the room or anything. You're just looking at your thumb as you go round and round and round, and try to count 33 spins. And then at the end of your 33rd spin, stop. And you can keep looking at your thumb and you have this sensation that you're still spinning, even though you're stopped. Now you might feel like you're going to fall down. Try not to fall down because when you stop, you've got this spin going and it's still going. And it's very interesting. I had a good time playing around with this. I'd like to try to do it every day as they suggest to see what kind of a difference it makes, but they are suggesting that it could make a big difference for us, um, accelerating the rate at which we can interpret and receive data. So I'm going to try to do this every day and see what difference it makes. It was fun to do it at least a couple of times already.
Yeah.
It reminded me of some games I used to play when I was a kid. So I think kids are on the right track sometimes. Okay, Pleiadians say, so the methods to use are intention, breathing, using the pillar of light, and spinning. We will add a postscript to these. As you are electronic beings who are altering your frequency at a very fast rate, we would recommend that you drink a tremendous amount of water. Fresh water, purified water, or spring water. Water acts as a conduit or a conductor. It keeps your system open and flowing. So, great advice again. I love water. I've recently decided to go and buy spring water for everything. Tastes so much better. I'm making all my tea and my coffee and drinking all my water as spring water.
Mhm.
And I think it makes a big difference for the beverage taste, just for the quality of it. And they're right. Our bodies have a lot of electrolytes in them, a lot of dissolved electrolytes. And we need that water constantly coming through to keep things purified and flushing out the toxic waste compounds and keeping the body healthy and fresh. So the better source of water you got, and if you're drinking plenty, the better your health should be. Pleiadians say there are many other things you can do. Learn to have altered state experiences and not feel out of control. Cultivate them and go into them to gather information. Change probabilities, move on to the corridor of time, and alter your own lives. Then come out of them with complete and total use of your will with respect to how you use these altered states. When you learn to do this, the acceleration will be absolutely phenomenal. When there are many consciousnesses on the planet registering that kind of ability, the whole network that organizes and monitors human consciousness alters itself. More energy is able to come onto the planet because there are those who can accommodate it. So the question, how do we get into these altered states? Well, it's exactly like what they already just told us. So they suggest intention, the power of your own will, deep breathing exercises as you might encounter in yoga, using the pillar of light and spinning. And of course, you can also do meditation. Any of these things should really get you into an altered state of consciousness. And that will accelerate our ability to bring light onto the planet. Okay, I'm going to skip down a little to the next page, 228. Pleiadians say, you need to balance many worlds at once. How do you do this? By intention, by practice, and by decree. Grounding allows worlds to merge and allows you to access many worlds. It allows you to feel surges of energy and then to direct these surges of energy where and when you need them to become superhuman. A good way to ground yourself is to go outside and sit on the ground. So go outside and be in nature. Stand or sit next to a tree for a while. Put your chair in the sun and read a book with the sun shining on you. Or go swimming or put your feet in water. These are the elements. They make up Earth, so you can feel them. Yeah, so grounding really is a great way to channel energies. Earth energy can channel through you to the cosmos. Cosmic energy can channel through you to the earth. It has a very calming effect if you're ever feeling unbalanced. Grounding is a great way to regain your balance. If you're feeling uneasy, grounding can make you feel very peaceful. Now, I like to do this by doing exactly what they say, sitting on the ground. It's a great experience if you're not sitting in a lot of ants or other insects that are going to bite you. So you might want to check first before you sit down. But sit down and just enjoy it. Like the next time you go to an event, like say you're going to go watch your kids play tennis, instead of doing what everybody else does and standing there, and think about it too, when you're wearing your tennis shoes aren't allowing you to ground. You're not touching the earth. Your tennis shoes have an insulating layer between your body and the earth. So going outside and wearing shoes and walking around is not grounding. If you're going to do that, take your shoes off. At least take off your shoes. Then you can say you're grounded. Okay. If you want to stand there, take off your shoes. Otherwise, sit down like I do. I love sitting. It's great. It's wonderful. It's so much more relaxing than standing. I go to these tennis matches where my daughter plays and everybody's standing around, or they bring the folding chair and they sit in that. And there I am sitting on the ground in the grass watching the tennis match. So one of very few who's actually grounded, I think. Okay, so try it if you haven't. They also suggest, getting some sunshine or swimming or putting your feet in a pool of water. Okay, Pleiadians say there is a conflict of energies at this time, which you could call either a skirmish or a grand battle. The battle is going to become grander still because it is a battle over whose frequency will prevail on this planet and who will own, manipulate, and train your frequency. Who are you as a frequency in disguise as a human? And what specifically is your job in this time? These are great questions. Who are you? And think about it. And they put it as a frequency. Who are you as a frequency in disguise as a human? Right? People look at you and they say, there's a human, or they think it, or they just understand it. But really, you have a frequency. It's your informational frequency. Where are you vibrating at? You could be vibrating anywhere in the spectrum. You could be you could be having a low vibration, which could be reflected as anger or jealousy or even pride. A lot of people say pride is good, but in its real form, it's a negative. It's a low vibration. Or are you on a higher vibration? Are you accepting? Are you open? Are you are you experiencing higher vibrations even? Peace and joy. Are you radiating love to others? That's a high vibration. So what's your frequency that you have disguised there behind that humanness? And then what's your job at this time? What do you think it is, right? We all, so one of the interesting things about us as humans, I notice when you ask somebody who are they or what is it that they've, you know, basically you're trying to figure out who somebody is. The answer is usually, well, here's what I do, here's the work I've done, here are some things I've done in my life. And people always talk about it in terms of what they do. And they don't try to get beneath that to a more basic fundamental level of this vibration. Which vibration are you? Okay. We can talk all day about what you do. That doesn't really tell me who you are. And that's a point that's lost on many people. And you'll see it as you talk to people. They don't know who they are. It's a fundamental problem. Many people have no idea who they are. You ask them who they are, and they say, "Oh, I'm a dentist. I work over there. I pull people's teeth." Or "I'm a lawyer," or "I'm a police officer," or "I'm a doctor." That's not who you are. That's just what you do. That's part of a story. And you're not a story. That's just what's happening. So, so it's so hard for people to see that they're not a story. But we always define ourselves in relationship to each other, right? I mean, I could say, I'm the father of, my son, right? Who am I? I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm also a son because I have parents. I mean, all these are relative, though. It's all relative. None of it is absolutely fundamentally basic truth. Let me continue. Next page, Pleiadians say, you must learn to handle many realities at once. To realize that you are doing this and to have a place, Earth, to translate information into. You would not be here if it wasn't important for you to ground information and energy into Earth. So whenever you find yourself electrified or energized, realize that you are in an altered state. Realize also how many versions of altered states there are, and that you must instruct yourself to become a conduit, like a big pipeline. When you know you are in an altered state and are being given information, healing energy, exaltation, or upliftment, act as a pipeline. Funnel the energy through yourself and acknowledge and recognize that you are in a multidimensional expression. Register this, but do not analyze it. Just let the energy filter through you into Earth, and it will make more sense later on. So I talk about channeling healing energy. It's the same thing when you think about radiating love to others. You feel this love energy flowing through you. By the power of your intention, you can radiate that. You can channel it to others who need it. Now, you can't really heal someone else unless you have their permission first. So it's actually a good idea to ask first for their permission. If they give permission, it means that their intention is aligned with yours. And then you could channel healing energy to them, and it should be effective. Okay, so let's see. Pleiadians say you can discover your emotional body by making a decree that you believe emotions can be trusted. Decree that you believe emotions are good and they are safe and that they can take you somewhere, that they are beneficial, and that they are not just in the way or misunderstood. Anytime emotions are released in you, look to see what they do for you. When you have a fight with your child and your child screams at you, and then afterwards you feel bad and cry, look at your emotion. What is the emotion doing for you? Whenever you are in emotion, you are accessing information from many realities. Find that frequency and hold it. It's somewhat of a universal belief that emotions are uncontrollable. They are not. You can control emotion, and you do not have to go out of control. Emotion can become a frequency inside of you through which you feel to the depth and core of your being. Yet someone may look at you and not have any idea that anything is going on with you. This does not mean you are blocking. It simply means you have set up a way to feel an emotion and not feel bad about it or good about it, but just recognize you are feeling it. See what you can do with an emotion. Where does it take you? What's the next step? Disengage from the event that brought about the emotion. That will help some of you. So, my take on this, well, first of all, personally, emotions obviously can be perceived as positive or negative, generally speaking, and some can be very, very nice, and some can be like, wow, you just wouldn't want this to keep going. And so we feel out of control, like when we're experiencing a negative emotion and we don't want to experience it, and we're just like, man, I got to get this to stop. This is no good. Um, but that kind of a strategy, I have found is usually very counterproductive if you are trying to block a negative emotion or suppress it or project it out. And so I found that a much more productive way of dealing, especially with the negative emotions that we don't really want to keep around long, is to welcome them, is to just sit quietly and put attention directly on them and welcome them and say, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. I know there is something very important for me to learn. And the Pleiadians even say it, this is a frequency. This is basically a carrier of information. And there's always something for us that we need to know. And it's coming through that emotion. So even with the negative emotions, you want to sit with it for a while and put your attention on it and spend some time with it. That will help it to clear faster. You wanted it to clear faster anyway. It'll help it to clear faster because you're putting your attention on it and you're saying, show me what I need to know. If you if you shun it and want to keep running away from it, it's not going to clear up. It'll keep showing up. So that's my experience, and I think it works pretty well mostly. So you could try that if you haven't already. I'll continue here. Pleiadians say body work serves to bring about a release. You have used the tissue and muscle of your body as armor to cover up your skeleton. The tissue has compacted and buried itself and kept what is in the skeletal form from rising to the surface. You want to access information that is within bone, for bone is where the story is held, while the blocks are held in tissue. You must go through all these layers to get to the truth inside your body. I've said this before, and I'm trying to get a little bit better handle on what they mean. Um, Let me skip down just a little. They say your body gets excited as your blueprint begins to take over and you move out of your logical mind and into experience. That is because you're aligning yourself with your purpose. Your body, not your mind, takes in the information. If you allow your emotions to have a free rein, you will have a much more satisfying experience than if you judge your emotions, do not understand what you are going through, and attempt to control them. You need your emotions. We cannot emphasize that enough. Some of you pride yourselves on the fact that you don't have emotion. This will not work much longer because you will find that what you pride yourself on will bring about your destruction. We said earlier, pride was one of those negative states, negative mental, emotional states. And the Pleiadians are backing that up here. What you pride yourself on will bring about your destruction. Keep that in mind. But we do need our emotions. They're very, very much stressing that we do need them, and everybody needs them, and the role the body plays. Okay. So, what I get out of this is that the body is sort of like an antenna, and it's picking up the energies that we're aligning to or with. And those energies are flowing through the body first, and then it's being communicated up to mind. And then we become aware of this emotion and we'll judge it good, bad, like it, don't like it, right? But usually there's not much we can do about it for a while. The emotion just has to flow. You can't just say, okay, stop this thing. I don't want it anymore. It doesn't really work that way. And it's kind of interesting too that it doesn't. Once it starts coming in, it's just coming in. You're an antenna. Antennas don't say, okay, I'm going to stop receiving now. Antennas are just built to receive. They're always receiving. If something's coming in, you're taking it in. So your body's an antenna. And so I think too, they mentioned the skeleton earlier. I think the skeleton is part of this antenna sort of structure that the body is to channel this information. And then it flows into mind. And then from mind, mind, of course, is connected to the spiritual realm. And so spirit can actually become aware of this information flow. So it's very interesting. Let me continue. Pleiadians say information is stored and written in stone. Information is also stored and written in bone. That is why it is important to work with a skeletal structure, because it houses much of your experience in this lifetime. Let things come out and do not chastise yourself because you thought you were finished with certain events. Say, this is wonderful. There's more here. I love it. Use the experience as if you are discovering a gold mine, as if you are discovering that you are newly birthed, a wealthy, newly birthed person. So they're saying basically the same thing. Let it flow, stay with it. Um, Treat it like it's a gold mine. Hey, it keeps coming, it keeps coming. What is this telling me? And you're going to learn a lot from these emotions. And if it's hard, say, please tell me what I need to know. If it's a hard one, if it's a really tough one and you just don't like it, just say, please tell me what I need to know. And will it to accelerate and flow faster into you so you can get what you need and get finished with it. Okay, so let me continue. Pleiadians say the mutation occurring is the evolution or plugging in of internal data to external data. The clearing occurring is the accessing of all the emotional bodies you have been frightened of using. You need to access your emotional body in order to understand your spiritual body. As we have said, the mental body and the physical body go hand in hand, while the emotional body and the spiritual body go hand in hand. Because the spiritual body is non-physical and you are locked in the physical realm, you must access the whole realm of the non-physical through your emotion. Human beings tend to love their dramas so much that they can get lost in the process of processing. Processing can become a way of life. This is not useful. It is not cool to always be processing and saying to people, don't call me, I'm processing, I'm deep in my stuff, I can't figure it out. Yes, your personal dramas need to be examined. Yes, your personal dramas are a banquet of nourishment for yourself. But eat the food and get on with life and make yourself another banquet. Quit holding on to these gems of your past and being so frightened that if you resolve these issues, You will never have anything else exciting coming up again in your lives. It's good to put processing in perspective. Another way I see this is it's good to let go of the past, you know? Don't hold on to it. It's in the past. The past is over. It's not even real anymore. Once it's past, it's just it's how you remember it. It's how you see it. It might be real for you, and you might believe that story, but there's also a letting go of, well, it's only so useful to me now. Once and after you process it too and get the information out of it, you got to let it go and see what's happening now. Now is what's important. What's happening right now. Much more important than whatever happened in the past. It's much more important than whatever happened in the future, because whatever might happen in the future is just an idea in your mind. Yeah, it might have an idea of what you'd like to have happen, or you might imagine what might happen tomorrow or what you're planning to do, but that's still just a dream. It's potentiality, right? And it may not unfold that way. It might exactly unfold that way. It might unfold somewhat that way, or it might unfold completely differently. And so the future, it's not in the, until it's in the present moment, it's a dream. Okay? It comes into the present moment. The future comes into the present moment. It's reality. It's reality as soon as it's in the present moment. When it's over, it's again a dream. It's what you remember it to be. Pleiadians say the human body is evolving and changing. It may believe that it needs a certain nutritional combination because this is what you have been taught. Ideally, at this point, however, you will forget what you have been taught. You will listen to your body and let your body tell you what it wants. We would guess that many of you in the last year have changed the things you want to eat. You no longer feel comfortable eating what you used to eat because the vibration within certain food is so intense that it is not compatible with you. In the meat industry, as you know it, the cattle, pigs, and chickens are not fed food. They live in small compartments, and many of them do not see the light of day. Many of them defecate on top of one another because they live in layers of small metal boxes. This is how they are raised. They are fed steroids and antibiotics, things other than food. They are not raised with love, and when they are taken to slaughter, they are not killed with love. And so you are ingesting this vibration. Remember that all things exist as a vibration. Animals were put on the planet to be companions for you, to live on the land, to feed you and shelter you if necessary. This was to be done with love. If you live on a farm and raise your own chickens and pigs, and if you feed them food, and if, when it comes time to bring them to slaughter, you do it with compassion and love, then it's fine. You give quality of life to the animals, and then the animals in turn recycle themselves to give you love and quality of life. That's the ideal. That was the reality for a long time on this planet. It is not the reality any longer. Be aware of the vibration within things. So, obviously, it's super important to be compassionate to all living beings, all the animals. Um, I mean, my personal recommendation to everybody, avoid eating meat if you possibly can, just avoid it. It's just so much better, especially when you think of the way these commercial farms operate. None of it's done with compassion or love at all. The animal is treated completely as an object. But it's not an object. You know, that's the thing about it. It's a sentient being. They understand love and they respond to it. I mean, they're part of that love that exists within us too. And so, you know, is eating an animal really a compassionate thing to do? And you can always ask yourself that when somebody is serving up food and they're like, "Do you want to eat some chicken?" And think, "Well, is that a compassionate thing to do? Should I?" It might help you to choose if it's hard for you a vegetarian diet versus, you know, people who eat meat. I think a lot of people who eat meat, they have no awareness and they don't want to know. They just don't want to know. Even if you told them, they would try to block the message out. They don't want to hear what you got to say. But the more aware you are, the more compassion you have for everything around you. And the more aware you are, the less likely you are to be able to eat meat. Um, of course, you know, it used to be a necessity at certain times, in certain places on the planet. It's much less so of a necessity nowadays. You can easily not eat meat and be very healthy. In fact, I would argue much healthier than a person who engages in meat eating regularly. Um, so a lot to think about here, a whole lot. Okay, the Pleiadians say, let your body speak what it wants. Let yourself be willing to change because your body, as it attempts to raise its vibration and build a light body, will move away from certain foods. Intend that you wish to change your diet and then intend that things come to you. We emphasize over and over again that you are much more than physical beings. You exist in many realities, and you have a multitude of guides. So each of you needs to become more clear in your intentions. What do you want? State, I want to evolve. I want to change my diet. I wish to have a greater sense of intuition. Be clear about what you intend. The words I intend have tremendous power. And much more power, I would argue, than the words I want. I would say use the words I tend as the Pleiadians suggest. I intend to have a greater sense of intuition. Or just say, I will have, or I do have a greater sense of intuition. Now, in this moment, I have a great sense of intuition. And you're creating that. You don't, it's not advisable to use the words I want. There's a reason for that. If you say I want, you will be left wanting because you want. People who say, I want money, they don't get money. They never get money, but they are left wanting money because the message they're sending is, I want money. And the message they receive is, okay, keep wanting money. You know? So instead, it's better to say, I'm abundant. I know I'm abundant. I have everything I need. It's all flowing to me. I can see it. And that's happening for you. It will happen for you, you see. Okay. Pleiadians say true health would consist of 12 completely mutated and evolved helixes inside the body, which would activate full brain capacity. It will take a while for the 12 helixes to be completely activated, although they can begin to be plugged in. Some of you have experienced them as plugged in, yet not activated. When they're in activation, the full brain is in operation and you are geniuses. You know everything, you are telepathic, and you are able to do anything because you are the host of the living library. You have the card that allows you to access any kind of information stored all over this planet. If you could aspire to anything, we would ask you to become impeccable keepers of frequency. Great message. Okay, let me skip down just a little. Pleiadians say there will come a time when you will no longer need to seek information outside of yourselves. At this time, we and others like us come to trigger you, to round you up, to gather you together, and to put you into clusters so that you can reflect off each other and electromagnetically charge each other. When we work with you, we create sparks of light that allow openings. As these openings occur within you, you vibrate at such a rate that you affect everyone around you. Whenever something clicks with one of you, you send out a frequency of recognition and other people pick it up. This is how the group mind grows. It occurs without you rationally understanding it or specifically having a picture or a realization of it because it happens electromagnetically within the body. You create the raising of energy according to how much you are able to handle. Group mind. So, the group mind, what does that mean? The group mind. A lot of people believe that they have a mind and it's their own mind. Do you really have a mind? And if you do, is it really yours? Does it belong to an individual? Is there an individual entity that has ownership over a mind? Or is the mind something more general? Is it something that extends beyond the person? Is it something we just all have access to, maybe? Maybe that's what's meant here by group mind. I think a lot of people have heard the expression one mind. There's only one mind. I like this picture of mind. I think it's truer. It's truer than saying that, kind of like equating the brain with the mind and say, well, we don't really understand how this works. And so we're just going to say that, well, the mind must be inside the brain and it's all coming just out of the brain. And that's kind of the way that people deal with it because it's not understood. It's not something that anybody truly understands. Even scientists, they don't get it. They have no real clue here how the mind works. And so they just say, it's all in the brain. It's a lot of complexity there. You can say, hey, there's a lot of complexity there when you don't understand something. So how does the mind really work? And is it really yours? People say, my mind, but is it really yours? Something to think about. Okay. Pleiadians say we are suggesting a living prayer, a process by which every moment in the day has meaning and leads you because of the way you are acting and your focus on what you are praying for. Living prayer involves having a very conscious intention about the objects in your environment, having an altar, having sacred things, having nothing in your reality that does not have meaning for you. Wow. Could we live a prayer like that? I love having an altar. I love having sacred things. This makes a lot of sense for me, and I know for a lot of you. But can you possibly have nothing in your reality that does not have meaning for you? I know I've got clutter. I've got junk piling up, and I just threw out a whole bunch of it today. And I still have a whole bunch more of it to throw out. I got clutter everywhere. I got lots of stuff that has absolutely no meaning, and I don't even know why I have it. So, so that's the goal of living your life like a prayer, getting rid of all that stuff that just accumulated. And why are you holding on to it? Shouldn't we just let it go? Like we let go of our how did the Pleiadians put it? Our dramas, Feed on your dramas, have your banquet, but when you're done with it, let it go because the next one's coming.
Mhm.
Okay. Pleiadians say there is no one on the earth plane at this time who is not impulsed toward evolving. No one without this impulse would have come here. All the portals that were opened and the blueprints that were laid out for this time were conditioned to work toward self-motivating, self-accelerating, rapid evolution. This book itself is a process and a trigger. The keys are hidden within this book. We encourage you to act on the impulses that are whispering in your ear, saying, "You are part of this family of light, and Earth is a living library." We will entice you and assist you by saying that there are many rewards, even though we will never guarantee that the challenges will stop. There is a stance of mastery that you will achieve. This book itself is a process and a trigger. A trigger is something that causes a reaction, right? You read the book and it can set you going on your mission to bring light and love to the planet. Okay. Pleiadians say there are not enough words in the present vocabulary or dictionary of expression to convey the feelings of the non-physical realm. Now we're outside of 3D, okay? So the physical realm is the 3D realm, right? And the chapter is called Your Commitment to Evolve in 3D. You're evolving through 3D, but remember you're a multidimensional being. You're not only a physical being, but you have this mental body, an emotional body, a spiritual body. You're in all these dimensions. So what about the non-physical dimensions, right? The Pleiadians are saying there's not enough words in our vocabulary or in our dictionary to convey the feelings of the non-physical realm. The spirit we speak of encompasses many ideas. It basically refers to that which is not physical or not within third dimensional viewing. Multidimensionality to us is a way of life. We realize that part of our challenge as teachers is to transduce our way of life into systems that are evolving. To put you at rest, however, unless you check out of the planet, this is a process you are heading toward. Though how you encounter it is up to you. So transducing our way of life into systems that are evolving. Mhm. They're saying unless you check out of the planet, this is a process you are heading toward. Process is transducing our way of life into systems that are evolving. Sounds complicated. Not sure what it means, so I'm going to continue. We want you to be able to go to the edge of a cliff, step off it, and stand in the air next to the cliff edge. Can you imagine doing that? I don't know if anybody could really truly say that that would work should they try it. What would it take to make that work? Pleiadians say we want you to be out there. We want you to recognize the heretic inside of you, the part that knows and is going to break this reality wide open and establish a whole new paradigm of consciousness. This is not going to be done by one world leader. It's going to be done by the masses because the masses are ready for it. So they're saying they want you to recognize the heretic inside of you. That's the one who's going to go his own path. That's the one who's going to go against the teachings that we've all been given and go their own way because they say, this is the pathway I want. Is it possible that we can bring the unknown to the known if we choose a different way to go? So they kind of went really far out with the idea that maybe you could step off a cliff and instead of falling down, you would just stand in the air and next to the cliff. I think if a person really understood their true nature and really could be that, what they truly are, it would work. But I'm not going to tell anybody to try it because most people it won't work for. It just won't work. But if you really knew your true nature, it'd work. If you really believed and knew you could walk on water, well, you could do it. Go try it. Try walking on water. Just say, I know my own oneness. I know my oneness. I know what I am and believe it. Try that. If you don't walk on water, if you can swim, you'll be fine. Okay, let's see. Pleiadians say, at this time, the guardians of light are on this planet in the millions. All you need to do is evolve yourselves. Your work at this time is very intensely involved with the self, the physical vehicle that you presently occupy. It is the self that allows you to play this game at this time. Love it, honor it, cherish it, take good care of it, speak very well of it, and intend that it perform at optimum capacity. That is all you need to do to be open to connect with your family of light. Then be prepared to find out who light has met, who light is going to introduce you to, and who light indeed are. And then I love this. There's a little graphic here in the book. It's the Pleiadian star cluster, the seven sisters. It symbolizes their little star formation that you can see in the sky on a clear night. And then we'll just read the last section that comes after the stars. I think this is a great section because they start talking about love. They say, love is what you experience when you go beyond light. You need light, which is information, to access this love. Without the informational frequency, the love frequency is misunderstood. When the love frequency comes first, without the light frequency, you think that love is outside of yourself, rather than understanding that it is you. Love is you. Then you do what people on the planet have done for eons. You worship and deify everything and think that love is out there rather than in here. We have decided to come onto this planet and operate with light first by informing you, strengthening you, and firing your blueprints according to information. Now that you have become informed and you understand what you are up against during the multidimensional light infusion with your identity, you will begin to experience the love frequency that will allow you to extend love to other versions of your multidimensional self and create a massive healing of consciousness on many levels. The experiences you will have in these realms of activity can be very powerful. They will alter you tremendously and you will walk around with a smile from ear to ear so that others will wonder what you have been up to. You will carry yourself this way because you will be in a vibration of ecstasy. You will be in a vibration of connectedness, and everyone and everything you draw to yourself will be a part of that vibration. Anything that does not resonate with this frequency will not even be able to get near you. In actuality, when you resonate with the higher frequencies, anything that is not in those frequencies will not even see you. When you operate in the frequency of information coupled with creation and love, you will be put to work spreading that frequency. Not by doing it for others, but by allowing others to feel your frequency when they come in contact with you. You are all invaluable, you know. Those of you who master these things, and there is no reason why all of you cannot, will be in very high demand one of these days. You will be looked upon as superhuman. However, it is not for you to separate yourself from the population. It is your place to teach the population and show them how they can do the same thing. Frequencies are to be given and shared freely so that everyone can discover what they can do for themselves. This is how this planet is going to evolve. End of chapter 21. So, nice message here at the end. The idea is to raise consciousness, raise the frequency levels into the levels of love and higher, and to assist others to do that by just being there for them. Everyone needs to do it, and everyone can do it for themselves. That's the idea of salvation. How do you help somebody who's depressed, angry, sad, hurt? Well, you help them to see that there's another way, that there's a better way, there's a higher way. And that's teaching. You can teach either through saying something to somebody, being a role model for somebody, or just being there and letting your vibration flow. So that's what the Pleiadians are telling us. It's so important for us to be doing now. Jaya, what do you think? Do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I can read the summary, James.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's read the summary. That sounds great.
Let's see. Let's go. Chapter 21, your commitment to evolve in 3D. Overview of activation and intention. The chapter emphasizes that individuals possess inherent knowledge that can be activated through intention. It encourages readers to consistently identify and clarify their desires, focusing on intentions that foster harmony, health, and abundance. Techniques for transformation. Several methods are proposed for personal evolution, intention, daily affirmations to attract desired experiences, breathing practices, deep breathing exercises to enhance physical and energetic balance, spinning exercises. Engaging in spinning can accelerate chakra activation and energy flow. Hydration. Drinking purified water contributes to bodily energy conduction and balance. Engaging with altered states. Readers are encouraged to explore altered states of consciousness as a means to access information and change life probabilities. This involves grounding oneself to prevent overwhelm from heightened energetic experiences. Grounding and nature connection. Grounding practices such as spending time in nature are vital for stabilizing one's energy. Engaging with the Earth helps integrate higher frequencies and supports a balanced nervous system. Understanding emotions. This chapter discusses the importance of recognizing and valuing emotions as a pathway to access deeper insights. Emotions are portrayed as conduits for understanding spiritual experiences with a call to release internalized blocks held within the body. Body work and healing. Engaging in body work is suggested to release physical and emotional armor, allowing for increased clarity and connection to one's deeper purpose. Conscious living and rituals. Conscious intention in daily life through practices like creating altars and living rituals enhances personal significance and aligns one's environment with their evolving self. Collective evolution and frequency. The text highlights the shared journey of collective evolution where individuals come together to elevate consciousness. It points to the planetary changes as a result of many individuals tapping into their unique frequencies. So, yeah, that is the summary.
Okay, yeah, nice summary. Thanks so much. Is there anything in the chapter that really stood out to you that you thought was interesting, or some particular point that
Yeah,
uh,
those techniques of deep breathing and spinning and drinking a lot of water, the shortcuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I do the deep breathing. I have my own deep breathing techniques. I don't want to go into exactly what it is, but
Mhm.
it's very, very hopeful. I think there's a lot of benefit to it.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've benefited from it. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if you engage in anything like that, Jaya.
Yeah, I do also do the breathing exercises
Yeah.
before meditation,
Oh,
and
okay.
it really, really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we do our short meditation at the beginning, I do is say, take a
Yeah,
deep breath
three
and
times. Yeah.
hold and
Yeah.
then exhale and do that twice.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to kind of
Uh-huh.
reset the body and try
Yes.
to get like some stress out
Mhm.
to set that good flow or mood for meditation.
Release all the stress. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, tensions in the body. Yeah. I do around 10 minutes of breathing exercises before meditation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Breathing exercise, not only just deep breathing,
Hmm.
but other breathing exercises.
Hmm.
So it really, but I have to try the spinning. I
Yeah.
think it's going to help.
That's different. I've not seen that recommended anywhere before.
Yeah, I saw like a sun gazing. Some people recommend sun gazing in the early morning, gazing the rising sun, and then closing the eyes and meditating also.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I think indirectly maybe is okay, but be careful,
Yeah.
even if it's a sunrise right on the horizon, unless there's like a lot of clouds to really dim it down.
Mhm.
Sometimes you see like the sun coming up on the horizon and there's so much clouds in the way, but
Mhm.
you still see like a really beautiful orange or red disc and
Yes.
it's not too bright. You can see it.
Yeah.
I just love that kind of a sunrise.
Yeah.
But if you don't have clouds, be really
Yeah, it is
careful.
strong.
Be
Yeah.
really careful because it can still be damaging to your eyes
Mm. Yeah.
unless it's filtered out. But sunrises are beautiful, sunsets are beautiful, and
Mhm.
just getting some sun once in a while, it's not all a bad thing.
Yeah. And grounding. I always practice. I just like to walk in with barefoot.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate that so much. Going down to the beach, walking on the beach with bare feet, putting your feet in the water as you're walking on the beach. It's so much fun. Or just in a lot of places too. I tend to take off my shoes intentionally sometimes. Like even like for little things like going to get the mail, I'll just go without anything on my feet. I'll go with bare feet outside, check the mail, come back in the house just so I can say I put my feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I walk in the backyard. with bare feet and front yard everywhere when I'm working, unless if it is dirty and rained.
Oh
Otherwise,
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
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 I like it. I like it, and it is good.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's a good
Mhm.
feeling to connect to the earth.
Mhm.
Something peaceful about it.
Yeah, yeah. So we finished chapter 21. One more chapter to go.
Yes. One more to go. We'll meet next time, next week,
Yes.
and we'll talk about the last chapter,
Yeah.
the galactic tidal wave of light.
Mhm.
All right.
Good.
Well, great seeing you again, Jaya. Thanks
Good to
for
see you, James.
coming and
Yeah.
discussing chapter 21.
Mhm. Thank you, James. I enjoyed it too. And
Hey,
good night.
great. Have a good night. See
Yeah.
you next time.
Yeah. Bye.